A dog is an amazing representation of pure love in this world of ours. All those who are close to this special critter accept the fact that their furry friend knows quite well how to love unconditionally. For me, it was more than a decade ago that it happened. One fine Mother's Day, I awoke with a dream reverberating in my heart. In this dream, a letter had been left for me to read, a letter addressed to me by someone named Swami. The contents were so sweet, written like a child's play. It asked over and over for me to grant my love to him, and nothing beyond my love, he asks. I did not know anyone by that name. A couple of months down the road, a close friend of mine was going through a divorce and had decided to adopt a little rescue poodle as a distraction for her daughter from the messy circumstances of the time. Swami had entered into our lives. And just like that, he became the apple of our eye. Suddenly, our schedules, plans, and priorities started to revolve around him. He spent the day with me and in the evening returned to his legal guardians. He brought us all so much of joy. As time went on, every couple of months, something incredible started happening within me. I noticed a distinct change in the quality of my love for him. Each time I marveled at it, I would say to myself, this is it. I cannot possibly love him any more than this. Yet I found myself to be wrong every time. Yesterday's emotion each time felt inadequate compared to the brand new one felt today. I realized afresh that love in its purest form is divine love. It knows no boundary. It continues to expand infinitely and increase exponentially. After one comes to this realization, it becomes pertinent to ask the question, why do we not feel this kind of love all the time? Let's start with what we call human love. This is a kind of love that is based on conditions, meaning we are not used to giving or receiving love without a specific reason or expect something in return. All love starts out as pure love, which emanates from the soul, or as we call it, our inner being or the psychic being. As a person's love travels along the way to its objective, it gets filtered through what is called the vital being. The vital is a bundle of various subtle bodies found in all living things, including animals and plants. For most of us, the vital being has not kept itself clean. As the pure love travels its path, its contents become contaminated by the unclean vital, just as clean air, when passing through pollution, compromises its purity. And thus, the original crystal pure love becomes morphed into a form of love riddled with demands, possessiveness, selfishness, me and mine, just to name a few. As such things begin to swim in it, our love becomes tainted. It is only by experiencing something truly selfless, such as the love of a dog, that we begin to understand there is something much greater to be had. By observing the love and devotion of a dog, at first we are bewildered, as we are not used to give or receive without any reason. Soon it begins to attract us, and if we allow it, it creates some strands of unselfishness in us. This is the beginning of imbibing the greatest of the loves, the love divine. Divine love is a love given purely for the sake of love itself, without any expectation. When such a love is wholeheartedly given, it attracts the attention of the greatest lover, divine itself, who loves one and all for the sake of love alone. This occurrence is very rarely seen in human love, although each of us does have the capacity to go within ourselves and allow this most beautiful flower to bloom. And make no mistake, once tasted, this kind of love will grant you a fulfillment that goes beyond your wildest imagination. It is difficult to achieve, but then again, nothing that is worth acquiring ever comes easy. After many years of a loving and peaceful existence, our sweet little Swami had developed cancer. We did all we could to extend his life and make him as comfortable as possible, but in the end, his pain went past the point of endurance, and for his sake, we agreed to let him go. I'll never forget that sunny Valentine's Day when Swami left. That evening, as I sat quietly with my eyes closed, something amazing happened. I felt an invisible weight sink gently into my lap. I didn't have to open my eyes to know who it was. For what seemed like hours, we sat together in blissful silence. We were in a state of pure love for one another, knowing nothing else. A few short days later, the next time our group assembled for meditation, one of our meditators shared yet another unbelievable experience. A couple of days previous, he had woken up early to offer his devotion to Divine. Upon entering his living room, to his great surprise, there was a small white dog laying there on a piece of rug, looking up at him. Rubbing his eyes in disbelief, he realized what his waking eyes were looking at. Gazing in astonishment, he said to himself, "This must be Didi Ma's dog, who departed yesterday." Meekly he asked him, "Are you Swamiji?" At this, the dog slowly started to dematerialize, and poof, he disappeared with his rug and all. At this point, you may be asking yourself, what happened here? What could possibly cause such extraordinary phenomenon to occur? Let us remind ourselves of what the mother of Pondicherry, spiritual companion and just as great as Great Aurobindo, has once said. Consciousness is a state and a power. Love is a force and an action. Consciousness is a state and a power. Love is a force and an action. What the mother means to say here is, when love is so deep and so pure, the dynamic force of love acts, such as in Swami's instance, where it physically took shape and materialized into form. This is the love divine at work. One source where it can consistently be seen is in energy healings, especially through the work of Mr. Rob Workin. In such healings, the consciousness as power and love as action directly enters into the matter. That is, the ailing human bodies, and the disease begins to dissipate. It has to be seen to believe it. So what are we to take away from all this? If a 10-pound puppy, by the dint of his pure love, is capable of manipulating matter and appearing after death in a palpable form, can we ourselves not aspire for something so sublime, so perfect?